Hey guys, so today I didn't want to do anything. I don't want to put makeup on. I just want to chat with my friends. I just want to chat with you guys because I really have no reason. You're just want to talk. Well, that's me today. I just felt like chatting with you guys, and it's evening. I didn't want to put makeup on. I just got back from LA, and we'll chat all about where I've been and everything like that. I haven't posted a video since last week. Most of you probably didn't notice because I'm not trying to make it a big deal now. If I go a week without posting, it just is what it is. Instead of making a giant like thing about it, then I'll just post when I can. And I was there with Colourpop, which was so exciting. It was so cool to be invited out by Colourpop. I have never gone anywhere with them before, worked with them, or gone on a brand trip or anything like that. They invited me out to celebrate their new launch, which is actually the new Colourpop X Disney collection that just came out. It's a pretty palette, and then they came out with each individual like highlighters or blushes and a liquid lip formula that they just came out with each individual princess that they chose. And they invited me out to come and tour the Colourpop headquarters to film a little thing for their channel, and then also to go to Disney with them to celebrate the new collection. And I was so blown away that they invited me. I live in Washington. I don't live in LA. I get invited to things, but I don't get invited like the amount that you see a lot of other beauty YouTubers and stuff getting invited, because I live far away. And so a lot of times I just don't go to things as often. So I was really excited when I was able to get invited by Colourpop to come down. I immediately was like, absolutely yes, because they are a brand that you guys know I love Colourpop so much. I rave about them all the time. There's of course been a few products that just aren't that great for me, but in the main scheme of things, like I pretty much love everything that they produce. I went down there last Wednesday, and then on Thursday I went to the headquarters and toured and saw the whole thing. Like I got to make a couple of super shock shadows myself, which was really fun. I got to meet the whole team, which they were absolutely amazing. All the people that work for Colourpop were just wonderful. And then I got to tour around the labs and everything like that, and it was crazy. That was really fun. And then the next morning we all met up at Disney, and there were a bunch of people invited. Actually, not a ton. I think there was maybe 9 other influencers that were invited. It was so much fun. So we went to Disney that morning, and we had tour guides, which was really fun. Basically, you have your own private tour guide, and they take you around. And when you have a tour guide, you don't have to wait in lines at all, which is really nice. So basically, they walk you around the park, and they tell you facts about Disney and stuff as they're doing so, and anything you let them know all your priority of rides that you want to go on, and then they take you in a separate line, and then you get to skip the lines and stuff, which is really cool. And I loved that so much. And then we also, with Colourpop, got to go to 21 Royal. So if you don't know what 21 Royal is, Walt Disney apparently had planned to build his home for him and his wife on 21 Royal Street in Disneyland, which is in the New Orleans part. And he had drawn up all the plans for it and everything, and then unfortunately he passed away before they could move in there, but they still had the plans and everything for it. So they built Walt Disney's house at 21 Royal Street there in that section, and for a while they did something different with it, but now it's where they host luxury dinners and stuff like that at this place, and it's freaking ass expensive. The fact that Colourpop took us there is mind-blowing and amazing. It was such a cool experience. So now you can have dinners there. None of us are gonna have dinners there again. Let's just put it this way. Had I not gone with them, I would never go in my whole life, because who has that kind of money? But it was so cool. Dinner started at 5:30, and you walk up this staircase into 21 Royal, and you're in a house. You picture it being a dining experience in a restaurant, but you're not. You're in a house, and it is so cool because the house is interactive. I wish that I had video. They don't allow video in there. I did get some pictures of it. I posted a few of them on my Instagram, but I'll try to insert some if I can. It was so cool because every hour the grandfather clock chimes, and when it chimes, the room goes dark, and the grandfather clock lights up, and it starts playing The Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes, but just the instrumental, and then you can see Cinderella and the little mouse in there, and then you turn around and all the cabinets are lit up and things are spinning, and it's super interactive in a really cool, unique way. You really feel, because you are in Disneyland, you really feel like you're in some kind of magical land. When you're in there, it really feels magical. It's so crazy cool. And so they allow you to walk through the whole house by yourself. You can go around, you can look at everything, you can turn the lights off and down. It's so cool. They trust you in there, and they give you the opportunity to walk through by yourself. They're not even standing there watching you or anything. They're just like have a good time. It was so cool because like you go into the bathroom, let's say. It was like off of the master bedroom, and there's like a button on the wall that you push and it like changes the room. It's so cool. The bathtub had these beautiful mosaic tiles and like this huge stained glass window in there, and like when you press the button, the lights dim and like the lights sparkle and like it looks like stars twinkling on the ceiling, and then you see like a Mickey, like a hidden Mickey in the stars. It was just so beautiful, and like music starts playing and it sounds like water. And then like in the bedroom, you press a button and the bedroom goes from a regular looking room to like all these blue lights, and like there's a projector that's like projecting water and it sounds like mermaids splashing or whatever. And then you see like the moon comes on the wall and like Peter Pan's ship goes across. It's just that kind of stuff. Like when we were in the middle of dinner, which I'll talk about in just a second, when we were in the middle of dinner, there's this candelabra in front of a mirror and they're like, oh, take a look at the mirror. And like Tinkerbell flits down into the mirror, and like it's a mirror, it's not, it just looked so real. And like she flits down into the mirror and like goes around and like turns on one of the candles and then flies away, and then she brings back two friends and then they all go down and they like flick all the lights on. And it's just like she's in the mirror. I don't know. It's just so cool. The whole dining experience too. You have a sommelier and like chefs, and you have like a butler who's like helping and like talk. It's like a ritzy ass thing, okay? Like it was such a cool experience, and just like being in Disney, but being in a different place within Disney, and being able to, you're like up on this balcony and you can look down and you're right from the place, right where you are is where the fireworks happen. So after dinner, which was amazing. It was so good. It was a 7-course dinner, and each little thing, like I took pictures of everything, and each thing was so unique and ornate and beautiful. And it was like the small portion type of food, you know, like the rich bitch type of food. It was that kind of stuff, and it was so yummy and unique, and the flavors were so good. And they send you home with the menu so you could remember what you had forever. And apparently they never create the same menu twice. So it's so unique and so cool to know that we had such an exclusive dining experience. And they like pair a wine with everything, and the sommelier comes in and like talks to you about why this wine pairs with you and why he chose it. And it's just like, bitch. Me and my American Eagle sweater, it was a moment, okay? It was amazing because like after the whole dinner and the dessert and like this whole experience, and it really is an experience too, because they talk to you and they give you the history and the backstory, and they talk to you like these mushrooms were foraged by our mushroom forager in the forests of this, you know, Sacramento County. I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? It was just so cool. I don't know, normally you're like heating up a microwave pizza, you know what I mean? Like you're just eating dinner and it's not an experience, but it was such an experience. It was so worth it. I mean, I don't know if I would be able to justify the price of 21 Royal because I'm such a cheap ass bitch, but maybe if it was like a really super special experience that you just wanted to remember for a lifetime, it really was the most memorable once in a lifetime experience. So I've been to Disney once before, and it was last year, and it was my first time ever in Disney, but we only went for like 3 hours. It was really hot that day. It wasn't the best first Disney experience, like I'll just admit that, but the lines were so long, and it was like 100 degrees that day, and it was just blistering hot outside, and we only were able to go on 2 rides, and then we ended up leaving. We didn't stay for fireworks or anything. So at the end of the day, I don't really count that as my first Disney experience because it wasn't remarkable at all. This is my first Disney experience. I'm counting this as my first experience, and they even gave me like the "this is my first time at Disney" pin, which I thought was really exciting. And so after dinner, we headed out to the balcony, and we were able to watch Fantasmic and the fireworks from the balcony of the 21 Royal, and it was so magical. So magical. Oh my gosh, it was like cry worthy, and I did cry many times because it was so emotional. Like if you've never been to Disneyland before, which I hadn't, it's nostalgia and childhood all wrapped up into the happiest, most flawless production you've ever seen. Like the Fantasmic show, like it's projected on like mist, like they're shooting mist up into the air and they're projecting everything, like Mickey and Aladdin and all these different things. But I think this is the difference, is like, you know how sometimes you'll go to like a Broadway show, maybe let's say, and it's like Grease, but then they don't sing the actual songs from the movie or whatever because maybe they're copyrighted, or I don't know. But This is not that, because you are in Disneyland, so everything is truly done to perfection. It's like last year I went to this Horror Made Here thing, and it was at Warner Brothers studio, and that was so cool. I actually have footage of that. I should do something with it sometime because it was really fun and really funny. Because you're at Warner Brothers, nothing was done cheap and chintzy at all. It was like you're at the place where these movies were actually filmed. So you're on the real set. You're with actors that are doing a good job. The makeup isn't cringy. The makeup is done really, really well. So that's what I'm talking about. It's done so well. Like, you're at Disneyland. This is the place where all of this originates. So you've got the real music everywhere. Nothing is not themed. Everything is so themed. Like the Cars. Oh my gosh, that was at California Adventure right across the street. But the Cars thing, oh my God in heaven. So Cars is one of my favorite Disney Pixar movies. I just think it is wonderful. Not Cars 2 or 3. Like, I'm not a fan of those. Cars 1, Radiator Springs. Stop it right now. If when I was walking through there, I wasn't like tears in my eyes, because it really feels like you're in Radiator Springs. Like, you really feel like it. The way the whole park is designed and the way that the ride was so interactive. Like, when I was going through, I saved it in a highlight on my Instagram. I saved it in there if you guys want to watch me go through the whole ride, because if you've ever been interested, it's actually really cool because it really feels like you're in the movie, because these cars are car size that I'd be able to sit in, and the way their mouths move, animatronics have come a long way, let me tell you that much. The way their mouths move is like, oh, it's crazy. And it's just the coolest thing ever. I can't even tell you. When you're like going through and Lightning McQueen's talking to you, and then there's Mater right there, and then there's Frank, and then he'll get you. And then you go through, and then you get to the very end, and you're racing with the car next to you, and then they're like, go, and then you race off, and it's so fun. I don't like rides. I don't enjoy the feeling of adrenaline. I don't enjoy the feeling of when you're up on a roller coaster and like your stomach drops when you go down. That kind of stuff, like, miss me with that shit. I don't enjoy it at all. However, I had the funnest time on that ride. It was so good. It was a little bit scary, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, it was woo, but it was so much fun, and that one was the best. We did go on the Star Wars ride, and I narrowly escaped vomiting on that one, because she was like, oh, it's a flight simulator, you'll be fine, you're not actually going anywhere. Not only was I not fine, I was closing my eyes, and closing my eyes wasn't working, because it really feels like you're flying through space, hitting into building. It was sickening. Like, sickening, the most jerky thing. I wish there was a button that I could have hit to be like, I want off. It was a lot, and just the whole experience was so wonderful. Being able to watch the fireworks, which are unbelievable, so crazy, like with the choreography and the way that everything just is so seamless. The people that work at Disney, hats off to you. Fantastic. Everyone is in a fantastic mood. Everything is uplifted. It was a wonderful experience. So thank you so much, Colourpop, for inviting me, because it was literally once in a lifetime. The likelihood that I'll ever go and get a tour guide is probably pretty unlikely. And to be able to go to 21 Royal, which is such a dream experience. I can't even put into words how cool it was. And they send you off with a little gift bag. So they gave us little coffees, little teas, a 21 Royal pin, which apparently you can only get if you've eaten at 21 Royal, which is really, really exciting. So I've got that. And just like everything, it was magical. It was so wonderful, and I was so happy and lucky to be invited. So thank you so much, Colourpop. Anyway, that's where I've been for the last like week. I've been in LA, and then I got home, and I've just been decompressing. Traveling takes a lot out of me. Some people can do it all the time. They're like, trip. One trip, and I'm like down for the count. I don't know if it's just because I'm getting old or what. Man, it takes a lot out of me. So I've been just for the last couple of days kind of getting back in the groove of things. And then I took my cat to the vet today. I took Maddie to the vet. I get his blood work results back day after tomorrow, I think. And then we're scheduling him to get his teeth removed. I talked to you guys about that in a previous video, talking to you guys about him and his health, because he's got feline resorptive lesions, or what it's called, on his teeth. He also has asthma, and he's got the one eye. He's got a lot of different health issues, and he's been losing weight recently. I took him to the vet like a few months ago, got his blood work done, and everything looked good. And then I just took him back and got it redone today, and got another exam on him because we're getting him set up for surgery. We've had to put it off because he has asthma, and we need to make sure that his asthma is under control and that he's not having really bad attacks when he goes under anesthesia, because he's gotta be able to breathe. So that's what I did today. I had to take him to the vet. It's rough. I hate it because he's like the love of my life, and I just want to make sure that he's fine. And that's so, yeah. My little lovey buggy's got to go get probably almost all of his molars removed. His front, like, canines and incisors, I think is what they call them. These little corn teeth up here. I think he may be able to keep those. We're not sure. But, oh, my little boy, all of his teeth are so bad. That's the problem, is that they would have been out a long time ago, but his asthma flares up and then he starts having attacks all the time. And, oh, it's a problem. I'm hoping that we get those extracted soon. He's been okay. Like, he was losing weight and I took him to the vet and got him weighed and he had lost some weight. And so I have been diligent. All I do, I literally feel like 90% of my life is standing in the kitchen feeding my cat. I've taken on the task of feeding him a minimum of like 10 times a day because he eats such small little amounts because his teeth hurt that I've had to resort to, like, I'm hand feeding him at times. We have all these different cans of the softest food possible and oh, it's been a thing. But I'm happy to report that when I took him to the vet today, he had gained a little weight. So that was really exciting. It's good to know that not all of my efforts have been for naught, you know? Like, I've been feeding him so often to get his weight up because I just want to make sure that he isn't in pain and that he's not hungry at the same time. So I've been sitting there hand feeding him for weeks, but it's been really good. I'm glad that I was able to do that for him. I'm really lucky to be able to work from home so that I can give him my attention and make sure that I know how often he's eating and how much he's eating and everything like that. That's that. And then we've been watching this show on Netflix. I'm trying to find new relaxing good shows to watch. I love relaxing type of things. We found a show on Netflix called Grand Designs, which I really love. British TV, dude. British TV is the best. Like, Great British Bake Off is my favorite, which is so annoying. Tell me that because Netflix is doing that one episode a week thing now. One episode releasing a week. How am I supposed to binge? So Grand Designs is a show on Netflix that I'm really, really liking. It basically follows a family through the entire process of building their dream home. And now some of these episodes are very modern architecture and really expensive, but it talks about their budget. It talks about where they're building, any struggles that they're having. And if you guys don't know, we have a second channel, my husband and I do, which I'll link up here, called The Sweet Life of Zack and Kristi, where I've talked to you guys about this before, but we're on our dream of like wanting to homestead. We want to live in a really ornate, unique type of home in the middle of the woods on a ton of acreage, and we want to homestead. Not like having farm animals or anything, maybe not off the bat, but we want to have like a huge garden and be able to can a lot of our own food and to live off of the land that we have as much as possible. And we've been really working towards this at least the last 6-8 months. We've really put our all into this. We started building a garden. We started our new channel where we document it, and we've been really working towards trying to learn how to be self-sustaining in a lot of ways, because we just find that to be a really important aspect of like life in general. As for us, everyone has a different opinion of what they want. Some people want to live in like an absolute mansion and be a billionaire. Some people want to, homestead and live off the land. Some people want to work in a high rise in New York City. I think everybody has different goals and dreams, and ours is just that. We want to live off the land and homestead. I have been really enamored watching this show, Grand Designs, because it shows the process of building and all that stuff and all the trials and things like that you can come through the end. But there was an episode last night, and I've been waiting for an episode like this. The type of house that I want, like if I could explain to you my dream home. All right, let's get situated with me. My dream home is one that looks like you live in the Shire, Lord of the Rings, but also Rivendell, okay? You get the vibe. We want rolling hillsides, lots of trees, mossiness, a waterfall, a creek, a babbling brook. That's what I'm talking about, okay? I want to live in the Pacific Northwest still, which is where I live right now, but in it, okay? I want to be in it. I want to be a hobbit. Basically, I want a house that's unique and ornate. I don't want something that... I like the house that I have right now. I'm not saying I hate this house. That's not the case at all. It's just as I'm getting older, I'm really starting to get into the idea of unique, natural looking architecture. I'm really not into square shapes or like modern buildings. I want to have rounded doorways, curved roof lines, and a big stone fireplace and little wood stoves here and there. And that's the kind of like life that gives me the most in my heart. Really, really ornate, cool cabin. That's kind of like my dream life. So I've been doing tons of research for like months and months and months. But really, we watched this episode and it was the house. It was the house on this Grand Design show. It's the very last episode. And oh my God, it took them 10 years to build it. And I was like, stop, the one house. But is so beautiful. It's got this big curved arched window in the living room, this grand window, the circular door, and oh my gosh, it was just everything. The house is way bigger than I think we would want. I would love to live in like an A-frame cabin or anything like that, but I just think the more I'm looking into everything, I want to learn how to build. Not that I necessarily want to build my own house one day, but maybe. I think that could be so cool. I think I'm biting off more than I can chew 1,000%. I am not a woodworker. I'm not an architect. I'm not a structural engineer. I don't know anything like that. I have been trying to make little art projects and things like that and learn how to work with materials because I'm getting so interested in the idea of maybe one day building a small cabin and then building up from there. My dad is incredibly handy with woodworking. He's a metal artist. He's a welder. He does all kinds of things. He built our side porch and our steel railing, but my dad's really talented at that kind of stuff. So I know that I could do it if I just put in the effort and work, and I want to start trying. So I want to build a little model of what I want a little cabin to look like. I've been watching videos of people building and watching how foundations are poured and how you can do the post beam foundations, or you can do concrete slab, and there's lots of different ways you can do foundations and stuff. And I think I want to build a little one just to see if I can do it. And what's the worst that could happen if it doesn't work out? You know what I mean? Like, what? Exactly. I'm not going to go live in it, so I can have it and build it and take my time on it and work on it and use like salvage materials from our basement and stuff. We have a bunch of wood that was left down there after the previous owner moved out. She left a ton of wood and shingles and stuff like that down there from this house, which is really cool. And then we have the other house that's like a tear down inside the rental house that ended up being like this huge money pit. And maybe I could use like some salvage materials and build a little cabin. And I think that could be so cool. I've been watching this channel called Cabinland from these two people that live here in I think in the Olympic National Forest. We've got a temperate rainforest here in Washington called the Hoh Rainforest, I think is how you pronounce it. And they purchased land over there and are building cabin land. They have a channel here on YouTube that is so inspiring and so fascinating. And I want to replicate what they are doing sort of in my own way, maybe not a cabin land, but I want to build my own cabin in these really unique, ornate shapes that they have. Maybe that would only just fit a few people for a fun little evening or whatever, just to start off, but to see if I can do it. I've been really into the idea of building anything. There's a Netflix show called Amazing Interiors, and it's basically regular looking houses on the outside, and you walk in and people have made these homes into the most incredible pieces of their enjoyment that they love, but like to the next level. This guy, he loves like horror movies, and his whole house inside looks like a horror movie set. That lady who loves pink, and everything in her house is pink, and it goes through all things like that. And there was like this guy who made his house like into a cat tree haven. There's literally like 25 cats that live in this house, and you've probably seen that guy before, but then there was a few of them that were so unique and ornate. They just take it to the next level. And I thought, when I was watching that show, which I've been thinking about this for almost a year now, Zack and I have been having these conversations and talking about things, and I think, oh, well, they did that, but I can't do that. And I think, why can't I do that? I've always wanted to have a source of water in my home, like a little fountain or something, but I don't really like the way that any of them look that you can buy. And it's like, well, then why can't I build one? Because I can. There is no reason that I can't. I just have to do it. And so I'm going to do it. Like, that's going to be like my new undertaking. And I probably will document anything that I do over on the Sweet Life of Zack and Kristi channel. We don't update that as often as we'd like because we don't just willy-nilly film anything. Like, we're just filming when things seem interesting. I got footage of a mole walking around my front yard, and I thought that that was really cool. Our garden has really gone downhill because it's nearing winter. You know, it's in the middle of fall right now. So we have that fall transition that we've got going on, and our tomatoes have all died, and we're having to pick the eggplant. We had to pick the watermelon and everything like that. So we're getting to the point where we're transitioning. We did not plant a fall garden. We should have, but what we're going to do is map out the new garden for next year because we're going to probably go 4 times the size of what we had this year. We definitely discovered some things, which if you guys are interested in hearing more about the garden, you guys can go check out the other channel because we talk about it all there. That's kind of the stuff that I've been into lately. I have been just trying to fill any of my free time, trying to get off of social media as often. I love social media. I think it's really, really fun, but I find that if I spend too much time on it, I almost start to think into the negative because a lot of social media can be pretty negative and pretty toxic. I don't know if this has happened to you guys at all, but it's like as you get older, your perspective on things starts to change and you also start to change your priorities a little bit. What I've discovered is that for me, I always have had hobbies that I like to do, and makeup was a lot of my hobby that I would do. And now that I do makeup and stuff like here on YouTube, and I really still enjoy makeup and I love doing it, I don't do as much of it in the off time. Like if I'm not filming, I'm not sitting around playing with makeup usually, because as it's progressed and changed and turned into my job, now it's my job. And so if I'm going to be playing with makeup, I'm going to do it on camera. I've got a little baby doll right here. He's scared of being held, so just FYI, if I'm leaned back, I want to be with him because he had a rough day.
He went to the doctor today. He went to the doctor. He went to the doctor today. Yes, he did. What did you think about it?
Were you so upset? I know.
It's so tough for you.
His little head, he pushed it into my hand.
Dougie, that's a very good card.
What was I saying? So I'm trying to discover new hobbies for myself. And gardening's done right now until really early next year. And so I'm trying to find things to fill my time with that are creative, but not just sitting on social media all the time. Because like I was saying, sometimes I kind of find myself falling into the negative. Not that all of social media is negative by any means. Let's call a spade a spade. Twitter's the fucking worst. And I have a problem with Twitter. I don't know what it is, but it's the one app that I check all the time. So I want to focus more of my creative energy if I'm going to into an app, obviously to YouTube, to Instagram, less to Twitter. For sure, because it just doesn't serve me sometimes to sit there and read a bunch of shit all day long, get into the hype of all of the crazy shit that's going down, and then channel that energy into something else. And so I've been trying to find new ways to have a creative outlet that maybe aren't just painting. I did do some painting and I've really been enjoying watercoloring as well. Getting back into playing guitar again. I got my guitar back. That's why I don't put nails on anymore. Some people will ask, how come you don't do your nails anymore? I just don't care. I just cannot be bothered. I can't be bothered to put nails on, so I just don't. And even painting my nails gets all chipped and then it's a thing, so I just would rather not. And it's nice too because if I play guitar, you can't have nails on. I definitely want to get back into that. It just hurts my fingers so bad when I try because I got to get those calluses back on my fingers. But also woodworking has become something that I have become so interested in because it is such an important skill. I feel like if you know how to build, you can do anything. And I've discovered that so much of the things, when we did our remodel, this is the longest video ever. Okay, the longest video ever. Bear with me. But when we did our remodel, and I'm not discounting the skill that people have, contractors are incredible and builders and people that work with materials and building structures, incredible, absolutely amazing. And I think it takes a really keen eye and a really specific type of amazing person to be able to do that. And especially to be able to design a space actually beautiful and make sense. What I discovered when we were doing our remodel is that I'd say probably 75% of it, and I put that 25 back in for electrical work and plumbing. So maybe 70% of it we could have done ourselves. It wasn't beyond our scope of abilities. It was something that had we just done a bit of research and trial and error, we could have definitely done a really good job at, laying tile and things like that. I've done it. I've tiled areas of my room. I did the whole drywall upstairs of my house. I think a lot of times things come down to doubting your abilities, because for me at least, I always think oh, well, there's specialized drywall teams. I'm definitely not going to be able to do that. But I did do it, and I did drywall the entire upstairs of my house. I hung all the drywall with my dad, and it made me realize that you can do stuff. You don't have to feel like you can't just because you've never really done it before, because there are other professionals out there. It may not get done as quickly and as good maybe, but that's part of the learning process. And for me, I like that. If something I feel like I can't do or somebody can do it better, I'll pay to have it done. I will absolutely hire a professional. But putting these flooring pieces in, I absolutely could have done this. And so it's one of those things where I'm discovering that I'm a lot more capable than I give myself credit for. And I think that a lot of that comes from a place of, oh, well, I'm not a professional, they can do it better. When I started doing makeup, I'll use this as an example. I had never done makeup before, just on myself every day before work. That was it. I'm not a teacher. I don't know anything specific. I didn't know how to blend. I didn't even know how to apply eyelashes. I didn't know that you trim eyelashes. I didn't know anything about eyelid primer. Nothing, literally nothing. And I learned from trial and error and watching YouTube videos and testing it out and trying new things and getting new things and trying different techniques and products. And now I feel like I definitely know how to do makeup. I've done some really cool makeup looks that I am very proud of and would be very proud to showcase to other people and on my YouTube channel. And I've made tutorials that I'm really proud of. And I've definitely done things that if I would see them in the beginning, I would have been I can't do that. But you can, because it all comes down to practice. It's anything. When I was working with wildlife, the first time you do sub-Q fluids on an animal, you don't know what you're doing. It's so difficult. It takes you forever. It's the most stressful thing. And by the end of it, you've practiced enough times that you could do it with your eyes closed. And that is what I'm talking about. It comes down to repetition and muscle memory and learning and problem solving. And I was really bad at math in school. I've talked about that before. And so it always made me feel really intimidated when it came down to working with materials where math is involved, like angles and straight cuts and everything like that. But it's an area that I'm not really interested in letting be the reason that I don't do it. So the thing is too, is here in the state of Washington, I'm finding it really difficult to find builders who can do kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for very unique, different. Oh no, sweetie. That has soap. That has soap. That'll make you sick. I don't want you to get sicky. Don't drink that. Why would you drink that? So cute. Looking for more of like, I'm trying to think of it like the people that on these shows that I'm watching and the people that I'm seeing live in these homes and like the people who are doing these incredible builds, they just decided that they wanted to do it and then they do it. Or if they can't figure it out, they figure out a way around it. And my dad has been doing that his whole life. Like my dad is an incredible artist, makes such cool things. And like if he wants something on his house, but they don't sell it, well, he makes it. And I can do that too. I definitely can and I want to. And I really am interested in that. So that's kind of where I'm really finding myself. If I'm not on YouTube and you don't see me on social media, I'm probably researching how to build a round hobbit door or how to moss a roof. And so that's kind of what I've been up to and I find it really fascinating. So if I figure anything out like that or I can try to like do a sort of video or something, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to learning and trial and error. It's definitely not easy to do a lot of this stuff. It's a pain in the ass, but I don't know. It's kind of fun to try new things and fail every now and again. Like I tried making mushrooms last night out of silicone. That didn't work very well. But that's okay. Things happen. And sometimes things suck until they don't suck anymore. I feel like that's pretty much all the things I had to talk about. I know this video has been really long. Yeah, if you guys are interested in following along a totally different side of my life, like a completely different, no makeup side to me that's just more like homesteady and soft, clunky acoustic guitar music to videos, footage of moles walking around my yard, subscribe to my other channel, which we will have linked up here. Again, it is The Sweet Life of Zack and Kristi. I'm very proud of that channel. I really, really enjoy it and I am really happy with it and I'm excited to have that channel with my husband as well. Also, I was nominated for an AIA award, which is the American Influencer Awards, and that is for the makeup reviewer or product reviewer of the year, I think is what it is. I'm gonna have the link for that somewhere here, either up here or down in the description box below. And if you guys would like to vote for me, that would be cool. There are a lot of categories. I think there's like 30 categories or something, and I'm on page, I think, 21. So you need to scroll through to page 21, click on my name and anyone else who you want to vote for along the way, and then you need to scroll through to the very end, enter your name and your email, and then the vote goes through. I appreciate any of you who have voted for me, which is pretty cool. I think this is like their second or third year being established and like an award show, and it's pretty cool to be nominated. So if you guys are interested in voting for me, I will have the link in the description. No pressure. It's all good. There's a lot of really good people on the list, so I get it. And that's that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know I wasn't doing makeup or anything interesting to look at during this video, just chatting with you guys, but sometimes it's nice just to sit down and chat like you're talking to a friend and having coffee. And I really enjoy making chatty, life updatey types of videos. I don't know, I just really enjoy, for myself personally, it kind of feels like an outlet in a way of like, almost like a podcast in a way, but without the podcastiness of it all. It's just nice for me to be able to sit down and talk to you guys and just dump what's in my brain and then kind of move on. That's why I really like filming these like chatty uploads, because I actually, one of them auto played the other day when I was on my TV. It's funny that YouTube auto played myself, but it started auto playing one of my old videos from maybe like 2-3 years ago, and it was like a chit chat, get ready with me, and I was talking about where I was and what I was doing at the time. And I actually love looking back. That's why I film these videos, because I like to be able to like document what I was doing and what I was talking about during that time. And I really liked looking back and hearing my mindset. I can't remember what I was talking about, but I was talking about something like, oh, I was kind of scared to like do XYZ. Oh my gosh, that feels like so long ago. Like I can't even relate to that person who was saying those things. So it's really fascinating for me sometimes to look back and see all that stuff and see what I was doing that month or where I was traveling or what I was up to. That's why I like filming these videos. So I hope you guys like these and that it just kind of felt like hanging out and chatting. And I love you guys so much, and I thank you guys so much for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you at my next video. Bye! You guys can't even see his cutest little face. He's getting so cozy right now. He's a purring man. You're so cute.
You're so sweet.
Oh.
We're gonna get your teeth out. We're gonna get your teeth out.
My sweetest little girl. Getting real diggy. You're getting real diggy in there. What are you doing? What are you digging?
at those little teeth. Look at those little teeth.
I hope we can save all those teeth. I need to keep your little fangies. It's evening. I didn't want to put makeup on. Most of you probably didn't notice because I'm not. It's a really was planning on building his home inside of the Is that better? Maybe you don't even notice a difference, but my lips are so bad right now. Look at all the white spots. Oh, they've gotten so bad. And like the grandfather. It's like they trust you in the. Like we're. And it was just so cool. It's oh. February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. My mouth bleeding. I can like taste blood. That's gross. It's gross, man.